Okay, I'm going to have an attempt at doing part one of the diary of events. This will just be an overview. Please bear in mind I'm a complete nightmare. I'll say one thing minute. It's almost as if there's like a million or 1,000 panes of glass that have gone through my brain here. So through. So if you talk about certain topics, I have to chat to a different topic. I can't understand it. I can't grab and hold the information. I think it's because my conceptualization ability has gone down to less than 10% without which is dreamy, imaginative thinking. My visual thinking visually, which is very profound. I mean, family used to use me as a kind of like a party trick, where I was like, some kind of conflict or something happens, and they'd say, "Toby, tell us what happened," and I'll tell you what the facial expressions are, the body language, the clothes, the who's fancies so and so, everything that's going on. Until people just look at me and they just say, "That, how can you do that?" And I said, "Well, how can you not?" I didn't realise until 2020 it's probably because I'm autistic and think visually. So thinking visually, if you talk about what happened in this English broadcast and it's traumatic, and it was got escalated because there were so further management problems meant that they thought they could mutiny, which was about okay. Okay, I'll try and do the summary. So I worked for a television media streaming division of a Fortune 500 company, headquarters in Portland. Reading, they had a satellite division with skeleton crew, and that's it for now. So there was beauties at that business, but I loved my job. I was good at my job, and I did very well in my appraisal. But I was a junior engineer on £21,000. Everyone was on 28. I think that they thought because of my autism, they could target me. I mean, maybe my lack of experience compared to these other people with 15 years experience. I had 1.5 years experience, but I'm awesome, so that's why I employed me. but So when they made us redundant, they gave us laptops, half a year's salary, and this English broadcaster came in at the very, very last minute and said, right, we want to purchase you. We want you to be on, we're splitting from media to kind of like tech kind of businesses. There were several businesses in tech, splitting it. So this English broadcaster will have two sister companies, media, technology, kind of, for want of a better word. So they employed us to be the technology department, and they wanted us to be our the flagship division, which is presently what I believe the business I worked in, now called something www.com.co.uk, which is this English broadcaster's flagship new media television streaming business, where I worked at that I believe mutinied for the first 2 years. And what do I mean by mutiny? I mean because this English broadcaster came in, so they said, right, we want you to be the flagship division. We're going to buy the business, rent the offices you're already in, and in 3 months' time, we'll move you physically and administratively into a new physical location, into the new English broadcast technology tech division, which later was in Berkshire. You know, we thought it might be in Wales or Swindon or something. We weren't too sure. And they said, just keep doing your jobs and hit the ground running. The problem was the business has been shut down. All the internet connections have been cut. And when they found that they didn't buy this new media television streaming business, they didn't. They thought they had in its whole. They didn't. They just bought the satellite division, the skeleton crew. No customers because all the internet connections have been cut and the customers have been passed on. So now it would take months to get new customers, but in 3 months' time we moved. So we were sworn to secrecy, and what I have to say next is just hearsay because I heard management saying it, but I never heard the person saying it. This was to on-site English broadcaster mutineering management. You caused this. You caused this. So if you can be here, do what it takes, and be here in 3 months' time when I come back, we'll consider you moving you in like we promised. So it's a threat, I believe, but that's just hearsay. So a lot of this is conjecture. It's not speculation. I was there, although some might be speculation, but I know that this should be investigated. Um, so then what happened? We were sworn to secrecy. We were told to keep our effing mouths shut. We were told that we need to do whatever it takes, including keep doing multiple jobs to make sure we're not made redundant again, which I thought meant batten the hatches, hoist the mainsail, once more into the breach, my friend, work hard together, which is what I did. Absolutely blitzed out. And I now realise my ADSD was being used because I'd worked 12 to 18-hour days to make sure that we weren't made redundant to help everyone because they were so panicky. But it became Lord of the Flies in the workplace. And I'll leave it at that from that point on because it continued. Because there's so many other points. I mean, once again, if anyone asks me lots of questions that I can't answer, I'll just stand up and walk out. Not interested. You will allow me those visual aids, which somebody else has to do. I need a trauma therapist to create a 30 or 50 piece of butcher's paper, A notebook, 50 feet long or 30 feet long. Fill it all out. I have all these mind maps, but no one's ever looked at them. I actually have, but they don't refer to them. I want you to look at them. I want you to look at the wall and say, this point here with this, what about the bullying here? And I can answer it just like that, just like you expect me to. But I have to have the visual aid. The fear of looking away. You answer me a question, I go, all right, give you 100% attention. The input buffer, the output buffer of my context window, and the background context, all gone. I've got no clue what you're talking about. So what am I doing? If you try and talk to me, I become very, very distressed. My brain can't take it. If I know there's a mind map there, I can look up there and go, right, okay, right. And the funny thing is, I have to start from scratch every single time, as if I've walked into this body, as if I've just materialized into this body and start talking again. And I'll literally, if I'm not saying the same thing you want, it will freak me out. I can't control that. I have no control. So visual aids are important. And I'm saying all this to the next person that comes along, you know. Also bear in mind that they threaten me, the threats against my person, such as if you and your Winchton circle of friends don't shut your mouths, you know what will happen. Which basically means you'll either have me killed, burnt alive, shot, bundled into the back of a truck, and then buried in a short, shallow grave. As per all the other threats in the workplace. You wouldn't imagine that was going on, would you? Because I was so stressed going from my third stress breakdown. I think I was in a helpless, hapless state. I'd be walking up and down saying, you're going to be dealt with. You're going to be greenlit, mate. You're going to be dealt with. I said, I would look across and said, because I was completely zoned out. Are you threatening me? And he looked at me. He would look at his computer screen. This is the person that would put illegal porn on a computer. Just so that he wouldn't be gaslighted and hazed and mercilessly abused like me. And he's looking at his computer with his eyes flaring like a child looking at the Christmas presents, Christmas morning underneath the Christmas tree. Euphoric delight. Extraordinarily sadistic human being. And as the management admitted, and he would say, oh, you're just neurotic, was gaslighting again. And they'd put illegal porn on your computer so that you would just click on it, open up, what the hell, delete, and then of course the sociopath would put his face right in your face and say, do you know what they do to you people like you in prison? And so I genuinely believe that the gaslighting again, that he was gaslighting other people to gaslight our line manager as a form of revenge for the management drawing us all into mutiny, making many of these abusers take Prozac because they're so stressed, because I think we're all complicit. So okay, that's part one. What I'm going to do now start next is start from September, and then talk about the initial business, then just an overview, and then talk about different sections. But it's a bit of a mess, and again, you'll probably be quite confused. You might have to put it into AI to decipher it, but I'm going to try and leave it at that, and then the rest I'll try to do in a written form using artificial intelligence, because I'm calmer now. I could probably use AI. Right, anyway, nanu. See you later, Tassie friends and UK friends and all others. See you soon.